The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scarefest Television. We're having a bit of a train wreck here. Skype has decided no longer interface audio with the show. So basically, Ken, let's see if the people can even hear you.
Okay, can you hear me, people?
That's working now.
Okay.
So what I did, well, I can't change that now, so I'll try to make Ken bigger. Let's see, I can do. What I've done, people, okay, because Skype wouldn't work and we didn't find out until 15 minutes before showtime, what I've done is I ported Ken through Zoom. And now you will see a little itty-bitty me sitting on my shoulder, but Ken will be practically life-size, because that's how we do things around here. And, you know, Ken, I want to tell you, everybody, this is Ken Boggle. Today's date's December 18th. The beautiful thing about this is this has been a train wreck of a week, all the way through, and this is just the icing on the cake,
the cherry on top.
I mean, and of course, then I get to catch hell from my wife, who incidentally woke me up at 2:30 a.m. By saying, "Oh my God, the internet's down." And so I thought it was time to get up. So I jumped out of bed to find out what's wrong with our internet. Oh, you didn't have to get up. Well, too late now. But anyway, so I've been up since 2 a.m. And now this.
The internet is important.
So, hi, Ken. Welcome back to the show. Everybody, Ken Boggle, this is a special occasion.
Yeah.
Ken Boggle was one of my original two co-hosts on the show. He left us for bigger and better things, or at least different, or whatever the hell he wants to call it. And I've seen him exactly one time since I think he left co-hosting.
Yeah, I think. How have you been, Wes? It's good to see you.
Well, you've heard my life story just now. It's in one train wreck after another. And it's not about me. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, all this tarot stuff aside,
yeah, I
wish you'd bring back your old podcast. Damn, you were a good podcaster.
Oh, well, now there's actually talk of doing another podcast. I'm thinking that I'd like to do something once a week, and I don't want it to be live. I want it to be sort of like pre-recorded. And I have a co-host that you already know, and he's on board. Okay. And we're now just thinking about and I'll take your suggestion, what platform we should use, and should we do the video portion as well, or just do the audio and that kind of a thing?
It's, well, I can tell you, you'll get better numbers off video nowadays. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do audio. See, what we're going to start doing, starting in January, is Scarefest TV will also be released as Scarefest Radio.
Okay.
After we record the episode, then I'm going to port out the audio into a separate podcast and release it separately for people that do like to listen.
That's what I think we'll do. I think that's what we'll do. Now, my co-host is going to be Adam Johnson from Scarefest Security.
Oh, hell. Well, see, I don't bring him on often enough. He finally talked to you into.
Oh, he's what we're thinking about doing is just like a chat thing. I don't really want to do anything themed anymore, because I'm relatively boggled with enough paranormal stuff that I would like to still do something that's sort of just out there, that's just kind of, me talking about other stuff and other business and just kind of chatting. And so we thought we would do a podcast called Something Smart I Haven't Thought of Yet. and we would just do, just chatting. We would just chit chat. We would just carry on, and like we would each bring topics. I wouldn't know his topics prior to the show. He wouldn't know my topics. And so we would just kind of play off each other and see where we ended up for 30 minutes ago. So I don't know. I think that's probably what I do next. But yeah, I missed the old podcast. It was every Tuesday night.
Yeah, except for the part where you went through and read literally every person that was in your chat room.
When did I do that?
You did. You thanked them every week for coming.
Oh, the Ken Boggle buddy list, Wes. And
yes.
It was vital to the
You devoted 15 minutes of your show to reading the phone book, Ken.
No, it was vital because at that point, everybody and their grandmother had a podcast. You remember? And
believe me, and it got worse after that.
Yeah, well, now it's like a huge thing. So when people were supporting me back then, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't a single soul that didn't go without being told how grateful I was. And I'm still the same way. But I mean, now it's that I don't keep, literally, you're right. It was a page and a half. Every time someone did something to support the show, dropped their name and was like, Ken Boggle buddy list. 30 minutes later, we ended the program.
But you are, Ken, I'm going to tell you, you are a gifted interviewer. I said that from day one. I only remember you getting hostile with like one guest, and I think you were just in a bad mood that day. So, I mean, you're already way ahead of me.
That's the truth.
You always came prepared and everything. And when you had me on your show, it was a very pleasant interview. If I would suggest you get back into the field.
I think I might. But Wesley, I'm so freaking busy now.
That's a good thing about pre-recording it. Now, see, that's what we're adding. We'll talk about it later in the show. But I've got a bunch of stuff we're adding after the first of the year. Good. But the thing is, I'm doing everything, all the additions, I'm doing them pre-recorded for that reason. We can work it around everybody's schedule involved and release them on a regular schedule. Yeah. And I think that will make everyone's life much easier.
Yeah. And then I'm really about maybe, Adam and I sitting down on us, because Sunday's Coffee with Ken Boggle on Video Space, and now that's like an actual monetized thing, it's such a wonderful blessing. But after Coffee with Ken Boggle, I have this period of time where I just, relax on a Sunday. So I think once the relaxing's done and I get a cup of coffee for myself and a cigarette going, I think then Adam could come in, and I really think that, he and I could turn out 4 or 5 episodes in one day, really, the way he and I talk, because, Adam's really gifted in terms of being able to, carry on a really great conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really, yeah. So that's really what I want to do, is just carry on a conversation, talk about things like hobbies and vacationing and, what you were like in school and, things like that, weird things that,
And you think you can pull that off on a weekly basis?
I think that if I can film 5 episodes, I think if I can film an entire season of a television show in 2 days, I can very well pump out a fabulous podcast in, 2 weekends.
There you go. Now, speaking of the show, everybody, of course, he's talking about Tarot Date with Ken Boggle that appears on the Vidi Space Network. More information at vidi.space. I still don't get that right. There are dots in the wrong place, but yeah, vidi.space. And of course, it's on Roku and Prime and
anywhere you can get the Vidi Space app. So you can watch it on your tablet, you can watch it on your phone, you can watch it anywhere.
I actually had plans. I was going to play one of the trailers for the show, but the trailer for season 2, honest to God, Ken, it looks like a Hallmark Christmas.
Doesn't
movie.
It look like a Doesn't it just make you want to curl up and spend half an hour just hanging out with your buddy?
Yeah,
I think that's glorious. And but it's music by Grant Wilson. Like, you can't get any better than that. For all the expos and paranormal fairs and markets, you'll never be able to have your own television show with Grant freaking Wilson playing the piano. Like, that's gonna be like the coolest thing you do. And for me.
I'll give you that. But I watched it and I'm like, first of all, Ken's coming across way too nice on this. And And then, like I said, then the music and everything, and I'm like, any minute I was expecting, like a Lifetime movie to begin. And so anyway,
The Good Witch. It was something like The Good Witch. And
but
it so far away.
Now,
real quick though, Wes, I want to tell you, I wanted to share this bit of news with you. Actually, I'm nominated for an award, and it's the best psychic in television 2020. And I'm nominated with like some really amazing people. There's Amy Allen's on it from, Amy Allen.
I know who Amy Allen is. I can't get her back on the show because she will only use Apple products. But other than that.
So there's Amy Allen, and then there's Kim Russo, who we know and love. We love some Kim Russo.
Absolutely.
And then me. I am actually, there's two other people who are nominated, but after they mentioned the first two, my brain just fried. Like what I cannot possibly in the same category as these two people. So anyway, but my performance on Tarot Date is nominated and is the only non-cable television program to be mentioned in the category. So I'm really very proud of the thing that we've done, which is we've created a television show that nobody else has ever done, which is themed around tarot readings. Nobody's ever done that before. And then just to be in any way or any capacity acknowledged in the same breath as like Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, or TLC, or all these other channels. So that to me is just such a huge thing we're doing. We're creating a wave in the industry to say, you don't have to be on sci-fi in order to do a job well and to do it beautifully and be recognized for it. So I'm really so honored by it. It's just such a great thing.
See, that's one thing we're looking at Scarefest. We had a meeting just 2 nights ago. And we were talking about paranormal guests coming up. And I said, okay, now the ones we've already gotten into contracts with from 2020, let's follow through on those. But after that, I said, forget about the TV shows. Let's go to Prime. Let's go to YouTube. Get some of the people that are out there influencing the field from the ground level. And because that's what I see on Prime. I'm seeing people doing, they don't have a $1 million production team behind them to get it on. And so that's one direction I'm pushing for Scarefest to go. And it's because, how can I put this politely?
Oh, you've never put anything politely. Don't start now. You've never thought about it. Think you said, Wes, don't change.
People, well, I mean, okay, streaming has become such a large part of people's lives.
Yeah.
I think that is just as important to them now as what's on.
Right. Well, he who speaks to the youth speaks to the future.
That's beautiful.
Period. So if you're not speaking to the youth of America, then you're eventually going to fall on deaf ears. We have got to go forward. And the way forward is to accept and recognize the fact that it's no longer cable television's doing the greatest things. It's people who are doing homegrown, from the heart, independent content creation. So
I feel better about my...
Yes,
it's not actually a decision. It's just, in a nutshell, the names in the industry are getting harder and harder for a convention like us to get, because they're used to being the headliner. When they go, when they do the Paracon at the Holiday Inn, they're the headliner, and God love their hearts. There's very few that reach that level for Scarefest. Now that's not to say they're not celebrities, but it's hard to bring them in and expect them to get the same billing as Tobin Bell or
absolutely
or Robert Angel.
Yeah. Okay, but also it's also such a scattered thing too, Wes. It's just such a scattered thing where people have a million different options, and so there's a million different people in the field. So I think if your idea of going to the core group and seeing what's there actually influencing the industry is a really brilliant idea. And that brings us to our bottom of the 30-minute break.
Yeah. Well, actually it's a 15-minute break because
is it?
Because Windows Update jacked up my life today. Everybody, we'll be right back with more Talking to Ken Boggle.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
I'm Cliff Stone reporting from the Scarefest Television Newsroom. Creepy doll alert. Did the real Annabelle doll escape from her case in the Occult Museum in Connecticut? Rumors circulated back in August that the possessed doll had gone missing. Luckily, owners Ed and Lorraine Warren's son-in-law debunked these tales, showing Annabelle safely in her enclosure. Questions remain how the rumor started. Demonic dolls on the lam, that's a big no for 2020. That guy in the fish stick commercials will return to stalking teenagers again and party like it's 1997. Amazon has revealed an I Know What You Did Last Summer series will debut in the near future. The series will be produced by The Conjuring's James Wan and be a modernized take on the iconic slasher movie. But will the cast be as pretty as the original?
Hey, Scarefest friends! Ho, ho, ho! Which one of you hookers am I referring to? This is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Yes. This week, I'm doing something festive. Still waiting on one of you all to buy me a box or a bottle of Blanton's, but that's beside the point. I also like Woodford and Knob Creek. Just throwing it out there as we get closer to the holiday season. They did another remake. And this is the second time this movie's been remade. Black Christmas. I'm going to do 2019's Black Christmas. Now, 1974, there was a movie directed by Bob Clark. Now, Bob Clark is famous for making Porky's and another Christmas classic called A Christmas Story. Plays on TBS every year. Love that movie. He directed the original Black Christmas about Billy. And the guy, he's a psycho crazy killer, goes to this sorority house and starts murdering people. Love the film. Has one of the best uses of the C word in film history. That's beside the point. In 2006, Glenn Morgan came along. He used to work on the X-Files. He worked on Final Destination films and remade it again. It's about this escaped maniac returning to his childhood home. It's not very good. I can't recommend it, the 2006 version of Black Christmas. The only thing I can say about it is dark. It is a hard R. But see, they couldn't leave good enough alone. They had to reimagine it. And it's another one of those Blumhouse films. Remember when we were talking about Blumhouse the other day? Now, this movie has a 3.3 rating on IMDb. I didn't look it up on Rotten Tomatoes. And what they do is it's a group of female students, and they're stalked by a stranger during Christmas break. It's very pro-woman, and it's very woke. And I liked a lot of that. I liked where they were going with it. And I think the 3.3 on IMDb is a little too low. But here's the problem. Sophia Takal directed it. Never heard of her. Looked up a couple of other movies. I've never seen them. Is that you can be woke and you can have a strong message. And I'm cool with that, actually. I think it's cool. And as someone who works in higher ed on a college campus, I got a lot of the jokes that they'd made in it. Is you also have to make a good movie with that. Imogene Poots, which is just a funny name to say, is the star, and she's a great actress. Also has Carrie Elwes in it. But the problem is there's no scares, there's no twists, there's no turns. It's not, you find out that there is this underground brotherhood of fraternity at this private college of these overprivileged white assholes. I get what they were trying to do, but you also have to have an entertaining movie. You can have a message, but you have to have a film. And when you're making a horror film, you have to bring an edge to it, something hard. And I don't think this movie did that at all. It's clearly a PG-13 film, which is one thing, but it also doesn't really have any scares or jumps. There's nothing going on that's going to go, ugh. I like that they're trying to turn the genre on its head a little bit and put some of these assholes, mostly men, on alert. The issue is I don't think they made a good horror film. They made a movie with a message, and they forgot that they still have to be entertaining with the horror. I'm curious if you all feel the same way. If any of you all have seen the new Black Christmas, let me know. Evil Joe on Twitter, Joe Lewis on Facebook. Message me. Let me know, okay? This has been Joe Lewis, a Bonehead Weekly. Don't see the 2019 Black Christmas. And remember, expensive bourbon for the guy with the funny hat. Stay safe.
Okay, everybody, we got some announcements to go through, and here is the big one. We have canceled our January 9th CyberCon. This is basically, to be perfectly blunt with everyone, this is due to a COVID burnout, a lack of interest from anyone, and that includes the agents, the stars, the fans. So I wish I could put it more delicately, but we have decided to take, we're still going to use the platform when we get around to our live convention in October. So we will still be streaming that, and so we'll use that platform for that. But the actual CyberCon event we had planned for January is canceled. The good news is that, well, let's go on to Ken's little announcement here. Now, after the show tonight, if you go to patreon.com/scarefestradio, you can sign up to join us on Zoom tonight, and Ken is going to do a down and dirty tarot gallery. You scare me when you talk about doing these things in public, Ken, but anyway. But he is doing a tarot gallery tonight for us, and that's for our Patreons, and you can still sign up, because once you sign up, you can see the post that has the how to get into the Zoom room. Now, before you switch over, now, the reason I'm pointing this out is that's where CyberCon is going. We are folding CyberCon into Scarefest TV and the Scarefest TV after party. We will have lots more content after the first of the year. Our celebrities we had announced, Darcy DeMoss, Tom Fridley, and Nicole Hiltz, will all be joining us over the next month or two to do after parties. So you will get the same benefits that you would have got from Scarefest CyberCon, but it's gonna be spread out over months.
There's a little earpiece that will fit in your iPhone.
Your mic is actually hot, Ken.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You all said it. I'm so sorry. Damn.
That's why I said 30 seconds till we go live.
I'm so sorry.
Now you can go. Now, some other things that we have coming up after the first of the year. Chip Divine's Spiritual Help and Inspirational Talk. A lighthearted look at the world of psychics and inspiration and spirituality will be on Scarefest. Actually be on Scarefest Radio. The podcast will be open to the public. The video will be for our patrons. And same thing, Ken, I'm bringing back Paranormal Filler. Paranormal Filler is coming back on the air. If you all don't know, that is the podcast that I did for like 6 or 10 years, something like that. But so we're bringing that back.
That's amazing news, Wes. That's amazing.
Let's hope, but I'm not going to do it weekly. I just don't have the fire in my belly yet. But we do. Yeah. We'll start recording next week, and so that'll be another feature that you'll be able to listen to. But if you want to watch it, you'll have to join us. Now, Next week on Scarefest TV, we're going to have our annual holiday train wreck episode where me and the co-host get drunk and just bullshit for an hour. And I'll invite some celebrities, but they never show up. And I think that's it, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to our guest tonight, Mr. Ken Boggle. Sorry that it took so long, Ken. Now, first of all, let's talk about, and this was announced like a week and a half ago, the Mystical Emporium.
Yeah.
Tell us about this little project that you have in the works.
Okay, so Ken Boggle's Mystical Emporium is actually a boutique hotel in Frankfort, Kentucky, where you get a completely immersive experience. So if you love readings and you love the metaphysical and you love the kind of that really great vibe of Ken Boggle, you get to come spend either a night with me or a weekend with me, and there's various things that you can do. On the first night, if you do a one night stand with Ken Boggle, you get a room, you get a cocktail hour, hors d'oeuvres, all those provided. I thought you'd like that. And then a one night stand, you get cocktail hour, hors d'oeuvres, you get a 30-minute reading, you spend the night, you wake up the next morning. I have coffee, we have pastries provided by Kim's Cakes and Catering. And you get this whole lovely evening with me. Like we're talking about, doing really fun things like board games and karaoke night and all kinds of different stuff for the one night stands. If you do a weekend with Ken Boggle, you get the room for 2 nights, and each room can be split between 2 people. So we have a max capacity of 4 other people in the house at once. But you get to do the cocktail hour, the hors d'oeuvres, the hanging out. You get a free 1 hour. You get a 1 hour reading included in the cost. You get to also select a dinner at additional cost to sit in the private dining room back here at this big long table with all this like English furniture in this great Victorian house, and have like a real private, very luxury dinner provided by Kim's Cakes and Catering. And then we do fun things throughout the night. We wake up the next morning, and if you stay on a Saturday night, you get to sit in live for a taping of Coffee with Ken Boggle on Video Space Sunday morning. Then everybody checks out, and they all go home, and we scrub the house from top to bottom. It's where I live. It is my home, and now it is open to people who would like to have an immersive, psychic, mystical experience, and just, leave their lives and the chaos that they go through on a regular basis, even just for a couple of days. So it's a really wonderful thing here in Frankfort that we're doing. So if you'd like more information, go to Ken Boggle's Mystical Emporium on Facebook.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. Now, this is my own personal prejudice.
Okay.
I don't like people enough to do something like that.
You don't?
No, groups are one thing. I can go into a convention and have a big old time because I'm talking to everybody 10 minutes at a time.
Right.
And, but the thought of bringing people into my home and it just doesn't
sit well. Well, for me, it's different. For me, it's different because I'm not the kind of person who does well alone. So for me to have people here in the house is actually a real blessing. So that's so I don't really mind it. I don't like not working. So to have people here on a regular basis where I'm consistently working and, being a good host and loving people and entertaining people and showing everyone a good time and, teaching these tarot classes that are optional and teaching palmistry classes and cartomancy classes, all these things. I think like it's probably the best thing I've ever done, really, aside from, writing the book. This is probably the Mystical Emporium is something that was even going to happen before Mama Ruby's became Mama Ruby's. When Layla first started talking to me about it, it was going to be a thing where we called it Ken Boggle's Mystical Emporium, and then through various causes and effects, it obviously didn't turn out that way. But it became Mama Ruby's. So this has been an idea I've had for ages. I didn't know it was going to be a boutique hotel, though. Like, that's like the coolest thing in the world. Like, you get to come to this big, beautiful, amazing Victorian house in Frankfurt and just enjoy yourself and escape the world for a while. And I think it's beautiful.
See, I would enjoy the hell out of it because I like you. And you, at least in public, you like me. I love you, Wes. I'm just thinking of if I did something like that, the first person that would book, I know who it would be, and I don't want them in. I just don't want them around. No, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to put anybody on blast here, but I know because they stalk.
I know.
Okay.
Bless it.
And they've got the money to do something like that.
Yeah,
anyway, so I'll tell you what, we're going to do our other commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Ken Boggle writing a book, everyone. This is a news flash to me. I did not know it until like 10 minutes ago. We'll be right back with more Scarefest Television.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
Horror. Movie. Fans. 4. Life. Find us. 4 News. 4 Memes. 4 Life.
Comedy, singing, and yes, horror seem like a splendid nightmare. And this week, back in 1986, that splendid nightmare came in the form of Little Shop of Horrors. Florist shop worker Seymour Krelborn loves strange and interesting plants, and after discovering a Venus flytrap during a total eclipse, he names the plant after his love interest, Audrey. This is not your typical plant, however, and Seymour discovers his new plant feeds on human blood and flesh. Little Shop of Horrors was well loved by audiences and critics, had a stellar cast of some of the 80s biggest stars, and became a beloved cult classic.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. My guest tonight is Mr. Ken Boggle, and he's about to tell me about something that I had no clue about until 15, 20 minutes ago. You're writing a book.
Been writing a book.
Well, I would throw out there that I'm surprised you didn't write one years ago.
Yeah.
Just because, well, I mean, you've got a lot of shit going on. You always have.
Yeah.
And you're very eloquent.
Thank you, sir. Look at you, Wes. Thanks, boo.
But so anyway, the name of the book, everybody, is Becoming Ken Boggle. So what's it about, Ken? Because
it's about, yeah, I mean, clearly you would have no idea. So what happened was when I started learning tarot with my grandmother, I developed the tarot Bible, and each page was a card, and I tore the card apart and all the symbolism and the notes, and that tiny book become a bigger book, become a notepad and all these other things. And now it was this little black book, and there was all this stuff in it from learning tarot. And I looked at it and I was like, God, reading it without knowing that it was about tarot, it would look like my life, like the journey from being the fool and going through the tower and going through various different, the Hierophant portion of my life and all these things. Anyway, it's a trip through my life to becoming Ken Boggle through the lens of tarot. So it's not a biography that's done but it is also a comprehensive guide to understanding the major arcana. It's never been done before. This type of a thing has never been done before, which means it's perfect for me to do because, you know, that's just my flavor. If it's never been done before, then I want to sit at the table. So anywho, it's a great book. In it, a lot of people, if you like Ken Ball, if you like me as a person, you're going to love the book. Parts of it are going to be very hard to read. If you like me, they're going to be hard to read because I spared nothing. I talked about all of my failures and all of my mistakes and all of my successes and all of the growth and all of my patterns of negative as well as positive behavior. If you don't like me, it's the perfect book for you because now you're going to know all the terrible things I said about you behind your back, and you're going to know. And you're going to know.
Well, you just sold a copy.
No, but it really clearly talks about the most difficult periods of my life. It even discusses the fact, you know, that I've been homeless twice. And when I was a child at 15 years old, I didn't have a place to live because my parents didn't want a gay son. And I was living in an abusive household, like a physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually abusive household. And I was 15. And it talks about the fact that I did have to eat scraps off people's plates while bussing tables when I was 15, 16, 17 years old because I couldn't afford food. I was paying bills and I was going to school and I was doing extracurricular activities, carrying a 3.89 GPA. And, you know, in the daytimes, illegally serving tables at a steakhouse in Prestonsburg. So it goes through various areas of my life like that through the lens of the tarot. And I hope that people can read it and it helps them see that I do not think that I'm perfect in any way, shape, or form. But what I do think is I think I'm the perfect illustration of how someone can encapsulate both very positive and very negative personality traits, events in their life, and how they try to overcome them. So it's a really great book. It's probably, I used to say Tarot Date Season 2 is the best work I've ever done. I now don't. I think that it's phenomenal and it's exceptional, but it pales in comparison to this book.
I'm not used to talking that seriously with you. The so one. It sounds like one underlying of the theme is that of course, gosh, you learned tarot when you were a child. I still haven't learned the damn thing, and I do readings.
Really great readings, I heard, by the way.
Freakishly accurate for some.
It's what I've heard.
Considering I have no clue what any of the cards mean. The only one I know what it means is I always tell people that if I draw the devil card, I'm just going to freak out just for the hell of it and actually.
Yeah. Start squealing.
Yeah, squeal and throw it at them and say, yeah.
I rebuke you.
Anyway, but so you, it sounds like you have, along with growing in the tarot, this book is going to be a reflection. I take it you use tarot to guide you through your own life.
Yeah, it really illustrates what I wanted to do is I wanted to tell my story. And because I have so much that's happened in my life, I'm almost 37 years old now, and I've had an exceptional life. I wanted to kind of have a structured way to discuss it. And so for me, it was the major arcana because that's life from the full to the world. And when I signed with the artistry management in the UK, they said, hey, there's this publishing company and we have contacts there and they're already really interested in you writing a book. So can you do that? And I said, well, I've actually started already. And I was telling them about it. And now I think I've left about 6 chapters left to write and then I'll be finished. It'll be completely done. Now I've already got a copywriter and an editor, and she is exceptional, and she works for a publisher that specializes in LGBT authors. So maybe we can get signed there. However, if not, then there's that beautiful, great publishing house in England that we can look at. However, if I have to, I'll publish it on a Matchbox and pass it out on a street corner. I swear to Lucifer, I'll do whatever it takes for people to read this.
I mean, we're doing our own programming now. You're going back into podcasting. You know, everybody self-publishes.
Yeah, they really do. It's really pricey, though, actually, to do that. It's like thousands of dollars. It's $2,000 if you want to get like a hard copy, like
Well, yeah, that's the self part.
Yeah, ain't it though?
If it's not your money, see, that's the publishing house's money. That's
right.
That's the way capitalism works, Ken. That's the way capitalism works.
Long may she reign, capitalism.
Timetable on getting your last few chapters knocked out there?
Yeah, I'm probably going to have the whole thing done by March. Just because the amount of work I'm doing with the boutique hotel, and now I'm filming Coffee with Kim Boggle live every single week. And there is going to be Tarot Date with Kim Boggle season 3, which I've already started working on it. And then it will be, so there's really everything. And not to mention I have regular clients that I now read as well. It's really become a thing where I have to be very careful to not burn out. I went there once before and burned out, and it wasn't pretty. So I'm trying to kind of reserve, be smart, be sharp. I've got a good team of people behind me who make sure that I rest on a regular basis. My partners in Kim Boggle Enterprises, which is now a thing that we're doing. They're who knew that was going to happen? But they're all very clear about the fact that really the most important thing I can do is care for myself, because now it's not just that I depend on me, it's that a team of people depend on me. And then these guests are already booking. We've sold out 2 weekends in February, and we're looking to start booking people in March. So really the best time to get on that boat would be January. Anyway, I've got so much going on, Wes. I think the closest I could get it would be March. I think maybe faster. We'll see.
No, I mean, I'll put it this way. Nature did everything it could to help you.
Yes.
Let's lock Ken in. Let's lock Ken in the mansion for 9 months. And I had a really good follow-up to that, and it's gone.
Well, speaking of the mansion, though, Wes, I don't know if you watched Coffee with Kim Boggle last week, but we were talking about, I was just saying that everybody thinks that living in a great big house is some kind of really big American dream, and everybody should live in the bigger the house, the better. And I don't think it is, Wes. I've determined that if you have short-term memory loss, it's not the thing to do. Like, I was trying to get ready for Coffee with Kim Boggle, and I had made a cup of coffee, left it downstairs, went upstairs, got dressed from here to belly, and then realized, oh, my coffee's downstairs, ran all the way downstairs, grabbed my cup of coffee and realized I didn't have pants. And I was like, okay, pants are back upstairs, and that's all the way up the stairs. And I was like, forget it, I'm not doing it. Forget it.
And now, for the record, bed and breakfast, you will want to wear pants.
Yes, their pants are a necessity in a bed.
You might even put some emergency pants, like in a drawer somewhere. Now, what on a serious note, now on the house, though, here's what I know about living in a reasonably big house. When we got married, we lived in a small place. It was packed. We're hoarders. We keep everything. We had furniture from every yard sale in 3 counties. We said, we're moving into this big house. We'll have so much room. That lasted about 3 months.
Not so
really
much.
And now this house looks like the old house, just more of it. It's just yeah.
Well, I love your place. Your place is exceptional energy, and you've got such amazing, I don't know, it's just, you could breathe out there. It's such a wonderful place to be.
Actually, I was told one time that I knew nothing about feng shui. Somebody was
because it works for you. That's
actually, it might be a good thing, because you've heard me say that my house is a no-ghost zone.
Yes.
And if they have to navigate enough furniture, they would just say, screw it, we'll wait in the yard.
Exactly. We'll be out back by the barn. You'll come see us.
That might be the key to my success. Now, the serious question I was going to ask was about tarot. One thing, knowing that you are, I don't know how closely you connect emotionally with your clients. I know you're an emotional guy. I know you're a passionate guy. And I know that even my dabblings in it, when I do some of my readings, I really have to lock down time. I cried during a tarot gallery 2 years ago because just the way things happened, what came to me during the tarot gallery. And I'm not a crier. Now, that being said, knowing that you are a very good, in-depth, connected tarot card reader, I've had his readings, people. How do you process that, or are you able to isolate yourself enough from it that it doesn't affect you?
I allow a small portion of it to affect the reading because I think that I would probably explode if I didn't. You know what I mean? Like I feel and see and hear and experience so much when I shuffle cards that if I didn't allow a little bit of it to kind of escape, I would totally fall apart. And I'll tell you when that happened. It happened last month. We have a thing called Brunch with Ken Boggle that I do monthly in Elizabethtown at a place called Wicked Eyed Woman, which is wonderful, great. We're doing it Sunday at 11 a.m. Right after I film Coffee with Ken Boggle, I'm going to hit an hour and a half in the other direction to do that. So anyway, I was doing this, and it was the first gallery in-person reading that I had done since I decided to come back from what I thought was my never-ending retirement. I didn't think I was ever going to do it again. So I had been out of practice, Wes, with really being able to keep myself composed. Mm-hmm. And normally I am good enough that when I've done my day worth of readings or I've done this huge event that I've done, I can wait till everybody's gone and I'm in my car and then I completely fall apart. However, I was so out of practice with it the last time I did a brunch that as soon as I finished and everyone clapped, I turned around and completely broke down because we had talked to a mother whose son was in the Army. We had talked to a girl who was pregnant and she thought she had this wonderful relationship. And it turned out that, it was dust in the wind. And we had so much going on. A woman whose husband was very unkind to her and she was heartbroken, and people who weren't caring for themselves. I absorb all of it and then I break down. Luckily for me, I'm no longer compensating with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol. So I allow myself to just fall apart. And everybody around me says that's part of the process. And they're there to kind of put me back together and listen to me talk about it, because I do so much connect with people and I love them so deeply that I don't just easily say, okay, there's your invoice, you pay me your money and get the hell out of here. No, it stays with me for days. Sometimes it stays with me to the point where weeks later, I'll have to message somebody and say, look, I'm still really worried about you, So it's intense.
Everybody, we got another commercial break. We'll be back with a few more minutes. And if you're trying to get in the chat room for tonight for the Patreon project, we're running 15 minutes behind. So we will open up the tarot gallery after Ken takes a little break after doing this show. You got to go to the toilet and things like that. But everybody, we'll be right back with more Scarefest Television.
Mama Ruby offers fun vendor-based events that focus primarily on the metaphysical and spiritual aspects of our lives. Well, 2020 didn't go as planned, to say the least. Since Mama Ruby's can't bring the vendors to you in person, they still encourage you to support them online. For links to these and other outstanding artists, craftspeople, vendors, and psychics, visit mamarubies.com and click shop.
TellMeTarot.com. Rare tarot and oracle decks for the discerning enthusiast or collector. Art decks are not for everyone. If you are a rare deck collector, art collector, or simply fall in love with a deck, then we might be for you. Right now, get 10% off your first order just for subscribing to their newsletter. Shipping is just $5.99 in the United States. TellMeTarot.com.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to CoyoteChris.com to learn more.
Over the course of 10 years, between 1946 and 1956 in the UK, 163 patients of Dr. John Bodkin Adams died under suspicious circumstances. And before their deaths, several of those patients mysteriously changed their wills to include the good doctor. Dr. Adams was beloved and sought out by many, so it came as a shock when he was arrested this week back in 1956 and charged with the death of one of his patients. While at trial, it came to light the true number of patients who met their demise while under his care. But nothing could be proven, and to the dismay of his victims' families, he was set free, having only been stripped of his medical license. The lives he had so cruelly taken would be forgotten, but the man known as Dr. Death would live on in infamy.
Okay, everybody, we've got just a few more minutes with our guest, Mr. Ken Boggle. I do apologize for everybody for the terrible, terrible graphics, which look like everybody else's podcast still. But that being said, I'm used to a higher level of professionalism than just slapping up a Zoom in my background. That all being said, so when do you have slated to film? I know it'll be a while before it's released, but season 3.
Well, it's my understanding that Elizabeth is actually going to come spend a week with me, and we're not going to film Tarot Date yet. I think first thing she's going to do is Elizabeth Saint's going to come in, and we're going to, I think, do a table tilting. Have you ever seen? You've seen table tilting?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Know about it. It's a Victorian spiritualist practice. So we're going to clear out the huge dining room. We're going to clear it out. We're going to turn all the lights low, and we're going to light the candles. We're going to get a couple of different cameras and film table tilting with Elizabeth Saint. So there's that, and there's also the fact that I want her to investigate the house because there is spirit activity here. And with so many different artifacts from all over the world, I mean, literally all over the world, that there's a lot of really interesting things that happen here at night. So I think we'll probably film all that stuff first, and then she'll probably come back in the spring, and we'll do Tarot Date season 3, probably film it in March, have it done by June, out there by August, September.
Well, if your little seance fucks up your feng shui, I have to drop the F-bomb once an episode now because YouTube is monetizing all the shows on their own. So, but if you have cuss words, who wants to sponsor me dropping the F-bomb? So I would have loved that. I think. Well, I'm just saying, we're not likely to have political ads following this. They
aren't willing to monetize you, but Ken is. I'm down payment on West Forsyth investment.
So okay, you're gonna be filming that. You got the book. You're gonna be a busy boy this year.
Yeah.
But really, I'll throw the offer out there. If you tear open the fabric of space and time doing your seance, and you need a shield to come in and patch shit up, I'm your boy. You know.
And listen, I would love it just if you and Anita would just come over, like wait until COVID's better or whenever. But I would love for you all to come over and just see the house.
We will. We will.
And I just would love that because I miss you all a lot. I've only seen you once. It's a terrible thing. Well, we saw you once, but we saw you 2 days in a row. So that's cool. But it would be nice to have you here. It really would.
I got a thing coming up in January, and they're going to do it Saturday and Sunday. And they said, "Oh, can Anita come?" I said, "No, we have 100 head of cattle. She can come then, or she can come then. But the chances of both of us actually going out and spending the night anywhere are
slim to none.
Slim to none this time of year.
Which, by the way, how's Ken Boggle doing? How is she?
How many babies has that bitch had?
She's had And she's had 3.
Yeah, she's on her 3rd baby.
she?
She's raising good babies. She's gentle as a kitten.
Yes.
And beautiful in the prime of her productive life. And everybody, if you're wondering, we're talking about the cow that I named after Ken Boggle.
The heifer.
Well, yeah, she was a baby when I named her.
Yeah.
She's not a heifer now. She's a cow. Sorry, now
she's a cow.
She was a heifer till she got laid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's the opposite of what we used in school. But now thank you for educating me.
It's her first baby, which is typical with heifers, first baby heifers, was average, but she raised a good baby. The last 2 have rocked, and I'm trying to think. We haven't kept none out of her yet.
She hasn't had any girls.
Yeah, that's right. She has all boys.
Oh, does she?
Yes. Yeah,
well, good for her. Good
so apparently the name worked. There's my gay joke. I'll get emails on that one.
I hope you do. That was a good one. Damn. That was a good one.
So everybody, we're going to let Ken go now. We're going to close the show out. There's still a few minutes left. We're going to start the tarot gallery just as soon as Ken takes a little break. Everybody, this has been Scarefest Television, and I will work tirelessly to get this software and Windows Update fixed. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.